This is A New Nigeria with Wale Oluwade. This is your current affairs program where we critically examine the strategic issues bedeviling Nigeria's developmental aspirations and boldly offer practical, bold, but audacious ideas on building the Nigeria of our collective desires. On today's episode of the program, we'll be examining in details a knotty issue that grieves my heart personally, and I'm speaking about the carnage, the bloodletting, almost endless, going on the plateau. What is responsible for this slaughter of innocent lives? And this has become a recurring decimal. No one has been arrested to the best of my knowledge. How do we stem this endless, seeming endless tide of bloodletting? I have one of the leading citizens of Plateau State on the program today, a former minister, to shed light on this and perhaps, make suggestions to the federal government and both the state government as well on how to, once and for all, put an end to this cycle, of violence and, senseless, killings. So we'll take this short break, and when I return, we'll get right into the conversation. Please stay with us. Welcome back. My guest today is Barrister Solomon Dalung, former Minister for Youth and Sports, 2015-2019 under President Muhammadu Buhari administration. Comrade Minister, I guess that's appropriate.
That is it.
Exactly. You're welcome to the program, sir.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Nice to have you.
It's a pleasure too.
And it's an honor for you to have accepted my invite. Thank you so much.
Well, you are doing much for this country, so you deserve it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Without much ado, let's get right into this. December 24th last year, a season of joy, of celebration. People in 3 local governments, Bakin Ladi, Mangu, and Bokkos, they were preparing, not just like every other person all over the world, for Christmas. And marauders invaded several villages in those 3 local governments. As of the last count, almost 200 innocent lives were mercilessly butchered. And then the president's spokesperson issued a statement during Ngelale, said these envoys of death, pain, and sorrow will not escape justice. That was what he said, that the president said, and that he has given the marching orders to security agencies to apprehend the killers. And then we were still dealing with that. January, there was another cycle of killings in Mangu, leaving 30 dead. What's going on, Barrister?
And the problem of the plateau crisis can be summarized as impunity. Impunity because since 2001, we have several and series of crises, and several commissions of inquiries were set up. These commissions inducted certain persons. As I'm talking to you now, no single person had ever been prosecuted before we'll say, okay, he's been granted an amnesty or a reprieve. So impunity now rules supreme than the rule of law in Plateau. Wow. So those who kill still walks freely. So they embolden other group of killers, whether you call them marauders, whether you kill them herdsmen, whether you call them terrorists, whether you call them whatever name. But there is this factor, the factor of crisis entrepreneurs sponsoring crisis because of their interest in the rich mineral reserve in the state. This has not attracted attention, but they flourish because of impunity.
Can you expatiate on this last bit, that those who are sponsoring these killings, because I know Plateau just generally is rich in natural resource minerals. Can you expatiate more on that angle?
This is one angle, the angle of crisis entrepreneurs that has been neglected even by the Nigerians.
You know why I'm asking for a bit of more clarity? Because the general feeling, the belief out there is that this is basically about land grab This is about ethnic cleansing, because this is what Governor Muftwang said, especially in the aftermath of the January killings. He said, because when these attacks happen, people leave their villages, maybe they move into camps or whatever, And then he said, if they stay away from those communities for a sustained period, the terrorists will come in. As I'm talking to you, I'm quoting Governor Muftwang. As I'm talking to you today, in the Riyom local governments and in Bakin Ladi local governments, schools have been occupied by these terrorists for almost a number of years now. We have not less than 64 communities that have been displaced, and their lands have been taken over by these terrorists. Under the last regime, it continues. That's talking about the administration under which you served. The feeling among the people in the Plateau, particularly the victims of these terrorist attacks, is that it looks as if the terrorists were given official government backing to be able to terrorize them, because little or nothing was done to repel this attack. So, like I said, Comrade Minister, the general belief would seem to be nobody has really focused much on this last bit and that's why I said maybe you should clarify, shed more light.
It's a neglected phenomenon of the current insecurity in Nigeria.
All over Nigeria.
Yeah. Take Zamfara. They are all Muslims. So who is trying to grab land there?
From who?
From who? Same tribe, same religion. Yet you have killing going on, you have kidnapping going on. These criminal elements are forebearers of crisis entrepreneurs who are interested in the rich mineral deposit of the land. So they use either terrorists, either marauders to flush the people out of their natural land. And then mining is going on. If you go to Zamfara, the people have been sacked, they are in IDP camps. But there are people living in their ancestral homes and mining is going on unabated. We have not given attention to this. Wow. This is a huge crime enterprise that there are more interests intertwined into it. Back to the Plateau situation.
Exactly.
You see, in Plateau, the issue of any cleansing, who is going to cleanse who? Plateau State is predominantly indigenous. But they are going to move a battalion of terrorists from anywhere, they will not be able to move Plateau people out to that place. Our ancestors fought 5 battles before the advent of colonialism, and they won all the 5 battles. So who will defeat who? But you have some ambitious set of people who are masterminding this, some advancing some religious sentiment, thinking, oh, we can push our religion and dominate. This factor also exists. Then you have those who are now trying to resist the issue of integration. Because Plateau is a multicultural society and well integrated. I grew up to meet the society.
It's a melting pot of sorts.
Very good.
Yorubas, Igbos,
even the first set of people who settled in the village Jones we're talking about were the Robos, followed by the Yorubas, before the Hausas were the third there. To meet the indigenous tribes there. So this is the society we are talking about. So what has just sustained what we see happening in the Plateau? The religious component is there because the 2023 election came with a load of religious dimension.
It fanned the embers of ethnicity and religion and all of that.
Actually. And you could hear
the rhetoric.
Yes, from religious clerics coming, whether on the Mandarin, making some
incendiary comments,
instigating comments.
Wow.
And then some are derogatory on the culture and traditions of the people.
Wow.
Then you have also a reaction. So this fueled the situation. But what is going on currently on the Plateau can be summarized into 3.
Okay.
There is the religious component, which has always been there since 2001.
Exactly.
There is ethnicity, which has also been there since 2001. There is also political aspect of it, because You know, the politicians, when they lose elections in Nigeria, they don't let it go.
Absolutely.
And you will not rest.
You should know you're a politician.
Yeah,
yourself.
I'm one. That's what I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
They will not let you rest. Then
The fourth one is
the fourth one is this neglected and very dangerous
insidious component of ethnic and violent entrepreneurs.
Yes, conflict entrepreneurs.
Conflict entrepreneurs. Exactly.
They sustain this crisis. Let me give you an example. One of the persons arrested, I mean, the man looks very poor. He couldn't have fed properly. But in his confession, he said he was arrested with an AK-47, the black type. Now, when you say the black type of AK-47, it is this type that terrorists globally use. So where does he get that money from? And who is behind it? We're not interested in looking at who is pushing behind. Now that our people have been pushed out of the place, who are occupying that place? And the sad aspect of it is that the reaction of government was so shameful. The IG went to the IDP camps. He didn't take the battle to the terrorists in the bush.
In the bush.
All the generals with their convoy ended at the IDP camps, while the terrorists were enjoying their control of those places they have taken and mocking at them.
Wow.
Why can't they take the battle to these people in the forest? Wow. And not just soldiers take battle to the doorstep of the enemy.
Absolutely.
The IG ended at the IDP camps. The soldiers ended. The vice president ended. So the whole thing now is a comedy, tourism of comedy.
Wow. Wow. What I want us to achieve, if it's the only thing we achieve today, Comrade Minister, what is the identity of the perpetrators of the December 24th and January 27th, I think, if I'm not mistaken, killings? Who have we unmasked their identities? Are they arrested? I'm interested. Nigerians are interested. You know, Comrade Minister, correct me if I'm wrong. Insecurity has become a pandemic all over Nigeria.
Yes.
And one of the reasons, we can attribute it to poverty, yes. We can attribute it to unemployment, yes. We can attribute it to injustice. But the biggest one is this injustice. For as long as people commit crimes and walk away free, they are emboldened not only to commit more heinous crimes, you have emboldened others because there's no deterrence.
You're too joined.
So that is what has gone on. Let me repeat the question, Comrade Minister. What is the identities of those who perpetrated this last cycle of killings, this orgy of senseless killings? Have they been apprehended?
Yeah. The police have apprehended some people and interrogated them.
Like the gentleman you said who said...
Yeah,
you know,
that one was...
just one person.
Yes, that one is Fulani.
Okay.
Yeah. But in his own confession, he laid claim too that they were attacked.
Okay.
And
in their own settlements also.
Yeah, that their settlements were attacked. And so theirs was a reprisal.
A reprisal, okay.
But my understanding, I've been into this issue of peace and negotiation.
Yes.
And my understanding of the problems on the plateau is that it's not exclusively one ethnic nationality. When Tarok people in 2001 to 2005 were being attacked consistently, we misunderstood the situation as if we had a common enemy. So we defined it and said, no, these ethnic nationalities should be our enemies. But in one of the attacks, and we trailed those people who attacked us, we discovered that there were about 50 young people of Tarok extraction who were serving as a compass for the attackers. So let us not...
When you mean compass, they were the ones leading them.
Yes.
Showing them the way.
Of course. Most of, some of these people are not indigenous.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
when I was in government, I interrogated, the attacks on the plateau. I was the one who mobilized the Cocking Church, one of the most populous indigenous churches in this thing, mobilized the leadership to come and meet with the president because the president of Cocking then, Reverend Datrin, accused me openly that the government of Buhari, just like the governor said, was responsible for funding of the killings on the Plateau. So I told the governor, I said, I am somebody who is very, very frank. I can even ask God questions.
Absolutely.
Can you repeat this thing?
In the presence of the
Buhari?
president.
He said, yes. I said, you must take an oath. If you will do it, then I will connect you with Buhari. Go and tell him, because I have been saying it. And the courageous Plateau leader agreed. I brought the church. He faced the president and repeated his allegations.
Wow.
And he gave the president even statistics of communities that have been displaced, the number of people that were in the IDP camps, and all that has been happening on the Plateau. And the president admitted that that was the first time he was getting such details of what was happening.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Comrade Minister?
Yes.
Not from the NSA, not from the military security agencies, that it was President Buhari admitted that was the first time. He
admitted before the church leader spoken.
And yourself and
I was
others.
there, the former governor was there.
Yes.
He said, this was the first time I am receiving very detailed report.
Breakdown, information.
Of what
has transpired.
Yes, what's happening on the Plateau.
Wow.
And he promised to take
Governor, when you said former governor, you're talking of Samuel Lalong.
Simon Lalong.
Yes, Lalong was there.
Yes.
Wow.
He was right there. I led the church.
The church. Wow.
And I was prosecuting them because they had accused me in Jos that, we were not telling the president.
Yes.
So I said, come and repeat it. Because something happened which made me to insist. I told the president that what is happening on the Plateau was, worrisome. So the president now fixed a state visit. He went to Jos. And in a town hall meeting, the governor just choreographed some people to speak. And the 5 people who speak and represented the cross-section of Plateau said that the peace on the Plateau was even more than heaven.
Wow.
The
peace they're enjoying is more than what is going on
in heaven. Under Simon Lalong. Then the elder who is led now and former deputy governor, while he was also in his praise singing of Lalong's government, his house was attacked in the village and they burned it down while he was busy saying that peace.
Doing psychophancy.
Yes. So they attacked his house and burned it. So I was afraid of speaking for Plateau people because when they're supposed to speak the truth, they start singing hallelujah. So I said, President, come and tell Buhari. And the president said it was the first time. He said he has not had it even from the governor. He has not had it from anywhere. This was his first time of hearing.
Wow. This is damning. Now, I want us to find solutions. I think we've done some bits of understanding. I even as someone who's a public affairs analyst, I think I have better understanding based on what you've said. Now, the Chief of Defense Staff recently set up a 7-man fact-finding team and all of that, led by Major General Augustine Agundu, to meet with the different sides and submit a report. Do you believe this, considering there has been several of such in the past? Is this the way? What is the way to finding lasting solution, especially the bit about conflictpreneurs, those who are profiting, who are doing this, using the templates of what is going on in Zamfara and other parts of Nigeria? What do you think, sir, is the solution to this problem?
With due respect to the committee of the Chief of Defense Staff, that is...
Already, sorry to interrupt you, already there have been people, who have said they don't believe in it. It's not going to, and all of that.
For me, it's not even about belief, but it's just a time-buying strategy.
Okay.
It's just like somebody who wants to abscond from his responsibility. So he must look for something to create, which he will ultimately blame. There are enough reports
with recommendations.
Even in the villa. I met with former President Obasanjo in Ethiopia while we were traveling to London. And he told me this. He said, what was happening to your state? I told him, I said, well, the same crisis when you were president is the one we are dealing with. And he said, look, if government do not handle the crisis on the Plateau very well, it's likely going to determine democracy. And he said, but what were we looking for? He said there was enough reports,
recommendations.
We should go to the library in the State House enough reports.
Wow.
So what is the chief of staff
CDF,
looking for?
what are they looking for?
Since 2001.
One.
Why did he not take the battle to the
doorstep
of the terrorists in the bush first?
first?
There's an adage in my village that you must send the cat into the bush first before you come back and
we have that also in my,
yes,
in
you
my
come
own
back
place.
and blame
You
the
chase
hen.
away the cat before you come and tell the hen,
yes.
why are you going out to go and
Very
play?
good.
You know.
They have not done that.
Done that.
The people,
So meaning those guys can still come in anytime.
They are still
and they're still
attacking.
coming.
So
Wow.
where will the chief of defense staff committee be sitting?
Wow.
In Abuja here with a cup of tea?
So you believe there are enough recommendations in the previous reports. All the governments, both the federal and the states, all they need, if they are serious about finding lasting solutions, is to dust up some of these reports. Maybe what we can add to that, Comrade Minister, set up maybe a white paper panel, you know, to look at all those committees and
We
extract.
don't even need that.
Okay.
At the elders' meeting with the governor, I told him that, look, there are enough...
When was this? When was this? This elders meeting with the governor?
That was some 2 months ago.
Okay.
I said, there are enough reports of commissions and white paper. All you need to do, those ones that do not have white paper, produce the white paper. All those indicted should be punished. Then maybe because with the effluxion of time,
Yes.
government grant them amnesty so that deterrent will be revived.
Absolutely.
And impunity will be
stop.
laid formally to rest.
Absolutely.
But as it is today on the plateau, we are governed by impunity.
Wow. Wow.
Impunity is even more dangerous than anything.
Absolutely.
So all those that are killing, I mean, emboldened to kill because they know nothing will happen.
Absolutely.
Even those arrested, 2-3 days, you will see them on the street.
Wow.
I went to the police headquarters, the CID component, and the police officer was telling me,
In Jos.
yes, that a very dangerous armed robber whom they have arrested severally has killed so many people. They detain him, charge him to court, and he has just been granted bail.
Wow.
So the police are even not safe.
Wow.
Because the armed robber now knows that nothing will happen to him.
Exactly.
And in a society where, I mean, criminals already feel more comfortable than the citizens, the citizens must begin to look for where to relocate to.
It's scary. It's a scary thought you raised, Comrade Minister. But I think, based on what we're saying here today, I think both the federal and the state governments, because I have a feeling that President Tinubu is desirous of finding a lasting solution to the problems on the plateau. I believe so. Now that he's back from his private visit to France, I'm sure.
Can you convince me on this, your assumption?
Yeah, because he gave instructions, you know, like I read, you know, his essay said he gave instructions that the perpetrators should be apprehended.
Buhari was given that instruction for
Regularly.
8 years. 8 years. And each time he gave the instruction, the criminals become more emboldened. And they attack viciously.
Let me ask, Comrade Minister, don't you think, I'm just thinking, you know, thinking out loud, don't you think it's another opportunity with this new president that you lead another team, maybe I mean, the governor there seems to be a reasonable man, you know, meet this new president, lay this, you know, facts bare on the table. Don't you think so? What do you think?
Look, anybody who aspires to rule this country and having been elected, before even assuming responsibility to take out of office, is entitled to security briefing.
Yeah.
So on the day of taking out of office, he's more informed about the security situation.
You are correct, but I beg to slightly differ. You know why? The insecurity in Nigeria is dynamic, and it's happening at the speed of light, as it were, in a manner of speaking. I mean, look at Nigeria. Nigeria is I have a book, you know, I wrote a couple of years ago. I titled it Gangster's Paradise. That Nigeria is a gangster's paradise. When I wrote that book, things were, the sheer scale of insecurity was probably 30% of what it is today. What's the point I'm making? President Tinubu is overwhelmed with details, with reports from practically everywhere in Nigeria. Insecurity is happening every day. I would urge you, for the sake of the innocent people who are perishing on a daily basis on the plateau, that that same thing? Because, I mean, imagine if President Buhari, who was in office for 8 years, told you, and the leadership of Koki, and the governor, that this was the first time he was getting this detailed information and statistics on what has been going on. Imagine President Tinubu is just 8 months. I would urge you, Comrade Minister, to do that. I think you should consider that.
You see, why I've been very, very unpopular among those who rule this country is that they are not disposed to the truth.
To people who say it the way it is. Yeah.
You
And
see,
that's why you are my man, because I like you. You don't pull punches.
President Buhari is one person that has the capacity to listen to the truth, no matter how bitter it is.
I think President Tinubu does too.
His problem is that he cannot translate whatever you agree with him into action. But
There's a gap
listening,
there.
he has the capacity.
Wow.
He will listen to you. However bitter, whatever it is, you can go to Buhari and tell him, look, President, you have failed. And he will tell you,
Wow.
oh, what have we done?
Wow.
And you point this to him and he will say, oh, I thought we should have done it.
Yes.
Why are they not doing it? He will be saying, why are others not doing that? This thing. He has the ear to listen. You know, the current, the configuration of people now in power, what you are saying is not possible.